Hello. What's going on? I don't know. I'm just hanging out here. I have my candles lit, what I like to call my fall candle. This scent, best candle I've ever smelled in my entire life. Moroccan spice. If you don't have the candle lit on September 1st, you're doing it wrong. 50. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Half marathon training tips. You gotta listen. You gotta check in to make sure you're doing all of them, because if you're not, it might be the opportunity to change something up. I'll see how fast I can do them. First, if you don't mind subscribing to the channel, if you haven't already, you don't have to, but it's an option if you want to. Tip 1, before going into a race, make sure that you have a running base. That rhymes. What this means is basically if you're going into a training plan, especially a templated one that's not personalized for you, and it has you running, let's say 15, 20 miles the first week, and all you've ran the week before going into the plan was 5 miles, let's say for the last month or two, you're gonna wanna build up before going into that plan. Expect to not jump up more than 10% more than what you ran the week before. Number 2, make sure you have the right running shoes. Self-explanatory, go to a running store, they'll tell you what you need, get a pair that's good for you. 3, kind of a suggestion, but I think it's helpful. Track your runs through a running app or a running watch. Obviously, I prefer running watch. If you're first getting into running, start with an app, migrate to a watch over time, but it's gonna help you track your workouts. Make sure that you're on track for your goal if you have one, and it's really fun to look back at your workouts throughout your training to see how you progressed. Number 4, if you signed up for a race, assuming it's outdoors, I guess there could be a treadmill race. I haven't even considered that. If you're training mostly on a treadmill, try to get 1 run a week outside. Because you know when you're running on a treadmill a lot, and then you go outside and you're just like, oh, it's hard, and opposite. You're running outside a lot, you go on a treadmill, you're like, this sucks. 5, when running outside, try to have a few different routes. 1 for safety reasons, so you're not doing the same thing every time you go out. And this can help implement hills and really kind of change up the route a little bit. 6, pick a day once a week for your long runs. Weekends are probably best, Saturday, Sunday, just so you have more time to get them in. 7, know the majority of your runs are gonna be at an easy, comfortable pace, 3 to a 4 on a scale of 10 effort-wise. And so that allows you to build up your mileage safely while being able to also get in 1 long run day and potentially a speed workout too, depending on your skill level. But most of your runs, long run included, are at that really comfortable, slower pace. Which leads me to tip number 8, like I mentioned. If you're more advanced, you're gonna start putting in speed workouts throughout your training at least once a week. We're talking progressive runs, slower to faster. We're talking tempo runs, chunk of time where you're going at a faster pace. We're talking intervals, like 5 times 800 meters, which leads me to tip number 9. Practice your race pace, because let's say your goal is a sub 2-hour half marathon, for instance, a popular one, 9:06 minute mile. Convert that to kilometer pace. If throughout your entire training you only do easy runs or you only run faster than that goal pace, if come race day, that pace is gonna feel foreign to you. 10, practice race day dinner. So the day before your long runs, if you're running them on Saturday, Friday night, try to, at least every other week here, try a meal that you're going to have before your race. So maybe some pasta, a little sauce, a little chicken, a little spinach action, but not too much fiber because you don't want to poop. Test things because you might find that, oh, pasta doesn't work well for you. So maybe you try something else. 11, practice race day breakfast. Similar, but different. Before you go on your long run, make sure that you're trying out foods that you're gonna eat on race day. Also coffee. 12, try to replenish your carb and protein storages, at least some of them, about an hour that you come back from your workouts. Honestly, an egg is a complete protein. Make an egg and then have a piece of toast and maybe banana for carbs. 13, take water with you on your runs, but especially your long runs. Take water with you to practice, because during the race, you're gonna wanna try to get water in at every aid station, I would say. Throughout the week too, if you're noticing that lack of water is hampering your runs, take water with you so you can't use that excuse. Which brings me to tip number 14, run on routes with water fountains around you so you can fill that bad boy up if needed. If there's like one around you, you could always do loops around it. You know, you don't have to do an out and back. Which also brings me to tip number 15, run on routes with a bathroom around you. Self-explanatory. 16, if you're wearing headphones, which I get it, I totally do on the majority of my runs. Make sure that if you're in a busy area, you either take one out, have the volume really low, or just are aware of your surroundings. All right, tip 17, staying on the headphones. Find podcasts that you really want to listen to and make playlists. So you can make podcast playlists. Whoa, wow, next level. Can you do that actually? I'm not sure. Make music playlists. I use Spotify, and so this is stuff that you're excited to listen to, especially if you're having a hard time getting out there to go on a run. So if I'm having a hard time sometimes, I'll know that I really want to catch up on a podcast. Cough, cough. The Fuel Pod is one that you can listen to. Link in description. 18, halfway through your half marathon training plan, sign up for a 10K race to use as practice for race day. You can practice your half marathon race pace in this run. You can practice maybe a progressive run, getting into like a nice 2 miles at race pace and ending faster to use it as one of your most difficult speed workouts of the plan. And it gets you excited for race day. Tip number 19. These tips are not in order, by the way, obviously. I don't even know what an order would be. Don't forget to taper in your half marathon training plan unless you are building up without a time goal to be able to run that distance, and it was a really shortened training plan, and your last couple weeks are actually getting you up to that distance safely. That's really the only situation in my head where you wouldn't taper, but typically you'd have 2 weeks where you're really kind of just pulling back on your mileage while keeping the intensity around the same. Tip number 20, start with a dynamic warm-up. Honestly, even before every run, you can just do a little bit. 5 minutes of leg swings, some squats, lunges, skips, hip circles. You could even do a little foam rolling action to activate the muscles before you go out. 21, do a static stretch after the run. So static meaning like holding a move, static, dynamic. 22, strength train to stay healthy. One of my favorite preventative tips. You don't want to do too many moves where you're getting sore for your runs, but this is preventative. You want to do some moves that are going to help you stay healthy to run. If running 4 to 5 times a week is a little bit too much on your body, look to add in cross training. So cross training is going to be like cycling or spin bike, swimming, a little elliptical, and those will help you increase your cardio while taking a little bit of the pounding off of what running puts on your legs. If you're new to running, you could probably get away with running 3 times a week with no cross training, but especially to kind of amp it up a little bit, you're going to want to put 1 or 2 cross training days in there. 24, invest in running clothes that doesn't chafe your body. You can find a lot of stuff at Target. You really can. I have a couple sports bras from there that I swear by, but I'm a big fan of Lululemon, and their shorts and sports bras are my favorite. They don't chafe me usually. 25, if you chafe regardless, I get it. Get yourself a good chafe balm. Rub it in the area where you chafe, and it really kind of helps prevent that chafing. 26, run with a running belt. It can hold everything. You can put your keys, you can put your phone, goos or anything you're gonna consume during the run, credit card, ID, whatever you need to hold, you can put it in there. You don't wanna hold all of it and ruin your running form. 27, try not to run outside at the heat of the day. I know we're getting into fall right now, but especially if it's still kind of hot at certain times of the day, plan your run in the morning or in the evening when the sun has gone down so you don't have that extra stress on your body. 28, read Runner's World and stay knowledgeable about the sport, especially as you're getting into it or you're into it already and want to learn more. Try to read up, learn a couple new things, and you'd be surprised how much it kind of helps you with your training. 29, look forward to something super cool. Doesn't have to be super cool, it could be anything, after your long runs as extra motivation to get them done. Number 30, I know we talked about water bottles earlier, but keep one on you all day long so you can stay hydrated, because the last thing you want to do is go into a run dehydrated. Tip 31, keep snacks around the house. This one is important for me because nutrition, spoiler alert, has a lot to do with how you perform when you run. 32, make sure you're taking care of your mental health on top of your physical health, because if your head's not in it, it's going to be a lot more difficult to train. 33, train with a running club, if you haven't thought about that already, because it's going to be really helpful come those long run days where you don't want to do it on your own. 34, stay accountable. Whether that's, running club could play into that. Maybe that's going on Strava and, you know, posting to your feed where your friends can see, telling family, friends that you're running. 35, we're almost there. Journal about your workouts, journal about how the food felt, how the clothes felt, how the shoes felt, how many miles are on your shoes. Did your race pace tempo run feel easy? So journal about this so you can make tweaks during your training to make sure that you're still on track, or maybe you can push yourself a little bit harder. 36, follow, since I know you're on social media because you're watching this video, and if you're watching this video but not on social media, you're an anomaly. Follow runners on social media to keep you motivated to continue to work out and run and all that stuff. It's motivation. 37, to get motivated to go on a run, another tip, either put in your headphones right away and start listening to music and then get dressed while you're listening to that music. Or, this is my favorite, call someone on the phone and get lost in that conversation as you're putting on your running clothes and running shoes, and like you're doing leg swings outside, talking to them, a couple squats, and all of a sudden you're starting your run on the phone and they distracted you to get you outside. Try it. 38, work on your fueling during your training so when you get to the race, you're not taking in gel or electrolytes for the first time and you're kind of not sure how your body's going to respond. 39, if you're wanting to hit a specific goal, you want to learn how to build up your running, or you want to get to, you know, race day injury-free or in your best shape, I suggest working with a coach to get you there. Also, it's just a nice structure. 40, this one, I love it. Find a pair of headphones with enough battery life, if you go with the unwired type, which is so trendy now anyways, that will stay battery filled until you get to the end of the race if you're gonna wear headphones. 41, flat runner. You're like, what is that? Maybe you know. Flat runner, lay out all your clothes, your hydration station, your goos, your shoes, socks, headband, whatever you need the day before the race, but not only the day before the race. You want to do this for your long runs too. Do it before your runs throughout the week. Just have your running clothes out, especially if you run in the morning. So you wake up, you have everything where you need it, and you're good to go. 41, wear sunscreen if you're running outside. 43, if you're running in the cold, because again, we're going into the fall, I need to include that. Wear layers, so especially if you get hot within the first few miles, you can shed layers, especially gloves. 44, running shoes. So like we said, obviously get a good pair of running shoes. If you do have a couple pairs that you rotate from, what's nice is if you really like one pair and you want to wear it for the race, you're going to be able to wear it for the race because you're alternating back and forth in training, and that pair of shoes isn't going to be totally miled out come race day. You want to rotate out running shoes every 300 to 500 miles, kind of depending on who you are and your body and stuff. 45, if you do need a new pair of shoes before race day, make sure that you get at least a few runs in them so you're not wearing a new pair of shoe on race day. You want to take away any of the blistering madness that could come by running your race pace on a new pair of shoes for 13.1 miles. 2 to 3 runs, try to get them in before race day. 46, this is a big one for me because I experienced posterior tibial tendonitis, and a lot of it was I was wearing not a great pair of shoes throughout the day after running. So especially if you walk a lot around the house too, get a nice comfy pair of shoes, whether it's Birkenstocks, oofs. It will save your feet. 47, never try anything new on race day. 48, practice the course before the race. So if you know that there's a big downhill and then it goes to a huge climb, try to find a course around you that's gonna have a downhill to a climb so you can practice something similar. 49, make sure you're letting your body recover so you can really reap the benefits from your workouts. Typically that's by having one rest day a week, but you also just want to make sure you're foam rolling and recovering so you're good to go to get in your next workout and keep on building off of that. Number 50, train for 12 weeks building up to that half marathon. If you need like a plan to kind of build you up a little bit more, you might even need like about 20 weeks. 12 to 14 weeks is typically a nice range. Less if you are already in shape and close to your goal. More if you need to add in that base. Oh my gosh, that was long, but I think it was helpful. Anyways, hope you liked this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you can. If you will, it would mean a lot to me. Check out my podcast, The Fuel Pod, anywhere you get your podcasts, and I will talk to you later. Okay, goodbye.
Dump and a jump. Top when I speak, all cap with the speech till they caught up in the rapture. I'm so out of line with the phrase game. Let's take a break, been a long day. Hit your line, what you fall through with the light stick.